Crimson Trace announces Link, the world's first wireless laser and white light system, combining a green laser and 300 lumen light with instinctive activation for AR-type rifles. Link, smart, simple, secure. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, it's Father's Day. Call in now to 866-TALK-GUN to share your favorite shooting sports memories with your dad or as a dad. Also, Tom's talking deals and new products with Springfield Armory and Liberty Safe Reps. Plus, learn more about the DC Project and what you can do to help. And now, here's Tom Gresham.
Well, glad that you could be with us. Tom Gresham here. It is Gun Talk. We're having some fun on a Father's Day. It is a great day for a lot of us. Whether you are a dad, somewhere along the line, you probably had a dad. You probably have stories. Let's share some stories. I'll relate some of mine of growing up, son of grits. It was interesting. It was different. It was sometimes weird, always fun and wonderful. A lot of good hunting and shooting stories, and we'll be swapping those. But also, I'd like to hear your stories. Going out shooting with your dad, hunting with your dad. It is you call it a bonding experience. Yeah, sure. But it's kind of the baseline for an awful lot of activities and also an awful lot of, I would call it learning, growing. It, in many cases, is one of the first times as a youngster that you are entrusted with a very powerful tool. For most of us, we grew up shooting before we were old enough to drive. It was a rite of passage, whether you were a boy or a girl, to be allowed to shoot, be allowed to hunt, to be included. And I think maybe that's as much as anything a big part of it. You were included because when you're shooting a gun, you're not a kid. You're not doing kid things. You're doing grown-up things. You are absolutely part of the group. I think of the stories that I heard in hunting camp, the modeling that I saw of what good people are like, how they operate. Handling firearms safely, being entrusted with that. It's a big part of, or at least it was for me, a big part of growing up. I see, and people say, well, that's dying out. That's going away. Really? Well, I'm not so sure. Story out of Alexandria, Minnesota. Gee whiz. Minnesota State High School Clay Target League Trap Shooting Championship. Okay, sure. Got a few kids out there shooting. Yeah. Got a few kids. 8,000 high school kids shooting guns. 1 million rounds fired. Just grab that concept for a minute. 8,000 teenagers with guns shooting 1 million rounds. And here's the question for you. Why haven't you heard anything about this? Well, the cynical among us, and that would include me, would say because it doesn't fit with the media narrative of guns are bad. Only bad people use guns. And here you've got some really responsible, some really, actually you'd just say mature youngsters. And they're youngsters, but they're safe. They're responsible. They're doing it with not only the permission, but with the encouragement. Sometimes reluctant at first, encouragement of their parents. They're learning a lot. They're being part of something. They're growing something. 8,000 youngsters shooting guns. I think it was over the course of roughly a week and a half. 1 million rounds, trap shooting. Amazing. It is irritating, is it not, that we hear nothing about that? Misuse of guns, sure. Oh, yeah. We'll hear about that. Criminal misuse of guns. We'll hear about that. And here's why that's important. And I don't want to assume that everybody gets it. Why that is important is because the public bases its opinion on what it hears, what it knows to be true. How do you know what is true? Well, it's what you hear. It's what you're exposed to. It's what you read. If you only see one side, if you only hear one side, and you never hear the other side, then you don't even know there is another side. Imagine that. You don't even know that there's another side. Amazing. Yeah, Jim says some of the best dads in the world are single moms. Yeah, amen to that. Isn't that the truth? So why is all that important? Well, if the media doesn't cover it, then it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, people don't know about it. And when you start to talk to them about the safe, responsible use of firearms, they don't even know what you're talking about because they've never heard of it. They've never even heard of it. Americans shoot far more than 1 million rounds a day. Think about that. Far more than 1 million rounds a day. And almost all the time, nothing bad happens. Like 99.9999999% of the time. Doesn't involve a crime, doesn't involve anybody being shot. It's just people shooting, practicing, competing, recreating, teaching youngsters to be responsible. When I grew up, my dad would take me out. We would go shooting, and it was always a case of being responsible, being safe. We had safety talks, and we did safety tests. He would do things like, all right, so which is more deadly, a shotgun or a rifle? I was probably 8 or 9 when he sprung that on me. Well, they're the same. Good, exactly. It was an interesting way to grow up. And it is an interesting way to grow up because it allows you as a parent, father or mother, to bring your child into an adult world in a safe, responsible, controlled manner. Now, and I'm just going to say this because I know that when I was growing up, people left guns around for the kids. They were there. They just said, don't handle them. I'm just going to tell you, I don't think that's a good way to do things. Kids are kids, and your kid may be perfect, but your kid has friends. And it is my belief now, different from what it used to be, it is my belief that you should secure your firearms. Okay? I just am a firm believer in that. If not for your kids' friends. Okay? Simple as that. If you say, well, my kid's perfect, great. Okay, we'll go with that. Yet. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Yet. So I'd love to hear your stories. First shoot, first hunt, first gun with your dad, or maybe with your mom, because sometimes it is the mom that introduces you to the shooting sports. Love to get that. 866-TALK-GUN is the number here. We're also going to have some great stories coming up today. We're going to be talking with a world champion shooter about a new gun, talking about blowing up stuff. Yeah, we're going to do that. And we have a project where a whole bunch of women are headed to Washington, D.C., but no. These are not the ban all the guns group. These are actually shooters. And they're talking to Congress folks about gun rights. We'll have that news for you. If you'd like to be a part of this, 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
Brownells has gone retro. Check out Brownells' new line of retro AR-15 and AR-style 308 rifles at brownells.com/retro. Whether you're looking for Eugene Stoner's original 308 design, the famous M16A1, Air Force 601, or the XM177 carbine, Brownells has the classic, new production, old-school rifle of your dreams. Own the firearm you used in basic training, carried in service, or that Grandpa always talks about. See more at brownells.com/retro.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, Or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Trust Inceptor ARX. Preferred defense for your self-defense ammunition. It features patented technology and an advanced lead-free polymer copper material for unprecedented terminal performance. Its non-hollow point round nose design means it feeds flawlessly and won't plug or fail to transfer energy on impact. Lightweight projectiles reduce weight in your carry gun and add velocity to all loads and calibers. Inceptor ARX is available in all popular handgun calibers. Learn more at InceptorAmmo.com.
One of the things I love about our community, the gun-owning community, the responsible men and women and youngsters who shoot, who collect, who compete, who have guns for self-defense, sure, for self-protection, for taking care of your family, is our willingness to jump in and help others. You remember the story last week when YouTube just flipped the switch and turned off the Brownells channel. Gone. Brownells, of course, 75-year-old company, the leading supplier of gunsmith parts and other things now. They've grown tremendously. Woke up, I think it was Sunday morning, and their YouTube channel was gone. No explanation, no anything, just a thing says, it violated our policy, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't get an answer from anybody. But what was interesting is the way people jumped in and said, hey, what can I do to help? One of the people who did exactly that is Scott Johnson. He joins us right now. Hey, Scott, welcome to Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. So, all right, so you hear the news about Brownells, and YouTube has turned off their channel. So what do you do?
Well, I was just driving back to Iowa. That's where I'm from, and I knew I was going to be driving by there, and I thought I'd call and ask them if I could make some sort of donation if they needed some help with legal fund or whatever they needed, or if there was some other way I could help. I called up, and they said, well, I really appreciate that, and they passed me over to Ryan, and then I got called back just shortly, almost within a few minutes from Joshua, and he called and said, hey, I really appreciate that. Why don't you come on by? We can talk. And he gave me a tour of the place, and it was just really a fantastic experience.
Some of the best people you'll meet in the industry, they are, it's a great company, and it's a great, everybody you meet there is just, and it sounds silly. People who don't know them think, oh, you're making this up. You tell them. You went there.
Well, to be honest with you, I used to be one of those people that thought the same thing too. I hear you talk about Brownells all the time. I hear you talk about, but the more I get involved, the more I talk to these people. You're absolutely right. These people are real. I was expecting, some sort of, typical salesman and whatever, but he was just a real guy. And we're walking around, and he's giving me the tour, explaining the whole system that they got there, and just walking by people, and everybody saying hey, and they were all just real people, and they really seemed like a really close-knit family, and I was just very impressed with everybody's attitude and the way that they run things. It's just unbelievable how great it was.
Well, you know what your problem is going to be now, Scott?
What's that?
You're going to be telling people about it, and they're not going to believe you either.
You're right. Yeah, probably true. Probably.
But, I know when I say this. I know when it comes out of my mouth that people are going to go, oh, come on, Tom. It's like you're describing, Mayberry or something. Well, it's not that. It's just that it doesn't seem to matter a lot which company you're talking about. If it's, Brownells or Liberty Safe or, pick one of these companies, and these people call in and say, yeah, I had a problem with the thing, and I figured it's going to cost me. And they said, no, we'll take care of it. And it happens so often, I think sometimes we begin to take it for granted.
I agree, and that's one thing I'm also trying to show my kids too. Is when we go to the gun stores or when we go to the Bass Pros and stuff like that. You know, I after we walk out, I said, "Did you notice anything about the people there, the employees, and even the customers?" And they said, "Well, everybody was really nice." I said, "Yes." And then you compare that when you go to other places, other mass box stores, and it's just totally different. The clientele are different. The employees are different. Everybody is just. It's a better. They seem to have a better way about them, just a better character, I think.
They're, as silly as it sounds, they're just nicer.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to.
It really is. It's like I tell people when you go to the NRA show, you got 60,000 plus people there, and everybody's holding the door open for each other, and everybody's saying hello, and everybody's saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and thank you. I sure appreciate that. And there's no trash on the ground. And I know it sounds like I'm just making this stuff up. Well, look, here's the thing. I guess what we ought to do, Scott, is give them the news. Brownell's YouTube channel is back up. They worked with YouTube. I don't think they ever got a real explanation for what happened. And obviously somebody at YouTube looked at their channel and said, ooh, guns. No, click, gone. And I think that's probably as long as the conversation went at YouTube. And it took a lot of explaining for them to get it back on the air. But, let me just say this, Scott. Yes, the folks at Brownells are really nice, and they're real people and all that. But you know who else is? You are. Because you heard of somebody in our community and our family who you thought needed some help, and you picked up the phone and volunteered. So that makes you part of the family, man.
Well, I appreciate that. We can't do everything, but if we can all just do some, I think that's going to go a long way.
That's a great attitude. Thank you so much for what you did. Thanks for sharing the story. That is terrific.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks again to those guys at Brownells. They were fantastic.
You bet. You take care. Great attitude. We can't do everything, but each of us can do something, and there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. Now, whether that's on the political side or whether it's just wearing your NRA hat or a shooter piece of paraphernalia or something, and holding the door open for people, and they say, yeah, that was interesting. That was nice. That was one of the... I didn't know that about those people. And what we do is we change it from being those people to people like us, to people I enjoy, or as one woman said when she started getting involved in this, she said, I didn't know anything about you people, but when I started doing this, I found out that you're people I like. And then she says, actually, you're people I would date. Going, oh, okay, that's interesting. Speaking of which, we'll be talking a little bit later in the show about a really great project called the DC Project, where a bunch of women are going to DC, and they're going to talk to Congress folks about gun rights. It's not the moms demand gun bans. And I just saw a story, by the way, and it said something about, and this was on a gun-related site, it mentioned the 3 largest gun control groups. And I read that, and I said, it's time for us to stop being quite so politically correct on this. Let's stop saying they're gun control groups, and let's call them what they are. They're gun ban groups. Everytown for Gun Safety, that's a gun ban group. The Brady Campaign, Gifford's group, it's a gun ban group. They all call for gun bans. And they want to pretend that they're only for more regulation. And then you say, well, but what about assault weapons? Well, we got to ban those. Right. So semi-automatic firearms you want to ban? Well, yeah, of course. Then you're a gun ban group. And it is the gun ban lobby. Make no mistake, that's who they are. It's the gun ban lobby. So I mentioned I grew up as son of Grits. Some of you know. My father was Grits Gresham. He was the shooting editor of Sports Afield magazine for 27 years. And an outdoorsman, writer, television personality. He was the guy on the Miller Beer, Miller Lite commercials. It was a great way to grow up. We always had guns around, as you might imagine. Everybody who brought out guns wanted to have them reviewed, have them used by the gun editor, the shooting editor. So we always had those, and I had guns I could go, shoot once I was old enough to drive and go out by myself and do that. which in Louisiana, where I grew up, age of 15, you could drive. Full driver's license. Interesting, huh? So we would go out. Dad would take me out to the range. Well, we didn't have ranges. We just had places to shoot. And eventually, somebody built a range. But we would just go out in the woods to safe places. I remember shooting a high-standard .22 pistol, and that was huge fun. And I would get to shoot that. I had, actually, I correct myself, I have a Browning .22 automatic rifle, and I think that's all they called it. I'm not sure that there was another model number on it. It's the one where you feed ammo into the hole in the side of the stock. Semi-auto. It's a takedown, and then it's a bottom eject. Well, I shoot from the left shoulder. Dad caught that very early that I'm left eye dominant. So a bottom eject semi-auto was perfect. That's a delightful little gun. I've had so much fun with that. I just, some of the memories out there. I'd like to share some of the other ones with you. We also want to have some of your stories. Tell you what, let's get Brett in here from line 3 out of Indiana. Hey, Brett, you got a story, a Father's Day tale?
I do. Yes, my father is 91, a World War II veteran, doing fine. He drives, gets along fine. Wears glasses, a little hard of hearing, but heck, my sweetie says I'm hard of hearing. I think she mumbles. Anyway, my father, I live in Indiana, and about an hour or so, a little hour past Chicago, and I have my own shooting range, a 300-yard range, and my dad comes out here and still shoots. Not a lot, but the last time he was out here was when he was 90. That was last summer. My nephew brought him, so he had 3 generations, and I'm telling you, he still can shoot. I mean, he picks the handgun up and just starts firing. I mean, now I'm an NRA certified instructor, and I've given him a few newer. Things have changed a little since World War II when he used to shoot.
But shooting is shooting. If you know how to shoot, you still know how to shoot.
He does. I'm telling you. I'm amazed by it. And it's really great to hang with him. We hang anyway. I mean, it's not like I never seen him.
It's the best. Hey, Brett, I hate to do it. I'm out of time here. I'm just going to let you, how about throwing out a Father's Day wish for your dad?
Hey, happy Father's Day. My idol, the best father ever, Roger Salomon.
There you go, Brett. Thank you so much. Great job. 866-TALK-GUN. If you got a story about shooting, hunting with your dad, give us a holler. We'll be back with news of a new cool gun.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Hey, it is the best of times. If you're a shooter, if you're a competitor, if you are a gun owner, if you like to get into it. I was just talking about this crazy story that is getting absolutely no traction anywhere. High school trap shooting in Minnesota. 8,000 students over 9 days, up from 700 during its inaugural run. 8,000 students shooting 1 million rounds. No coverage, of course. But people having fun. And for those who say, well, shooting's a dying sport. Hunting's a dying sport. Yeah, really? Yeah, no, 8,000 teenagers out there shooting. It's a cool deal. We'll talk about somebody who started shooting at a young age. Joining me right now is world champion like many, many times over, Rob Latham from Springfield Armory. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you today, Tom?
Good. You don't even remember how old you were when you started shooting, do you?
Oh, I don't. I can't remember not shooting, so I don't really have a lifetime that predates shooting. So there were 8,000 kids out there shooting, high schoolers. 8,000
high schoolers shooting trap, 1 million rounds over 9 days. And you know the drill. They're safe, they're responsible, they're respectful, they're careful, and they're having a ball, and they go away, and now they're shooters for life.
And somebody thinks shooting is on the downswing, huh? Yeah, I guess you can tell yourself whatever you want. All I know is I don't know where all that availability for ammo and shooting was when I was, 15 years old at high school. I would have definitely been out there.
No kid.
Yeah.
By the way, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, and happy Father's Day to you, too. I hope that kid of yours, you did something really nice and expensive.
Yeah, I told him, get a life. Come on. Shape up, kid.
I used to buy myself really nice presents on my dad's for me on Father's Day.
All right, you're going to love this. Ryan, my son, posts pictures of his daughters, 8 and 5, and they're out in the backyard shooting pellet guns. You shot with us. Ryan and I are both right-handed, left-eye dominant. His daughters are both right-handed, left-eye dominant. So what are you going to do?
What are the odds of that happening?
I don't know. We're all messed up, you know.
There's something wrong with all you Greshams. Your dad wasn't like that, was he?
No, he was normal.
He was normal. That's what I was looking for right there. Threw it out to you, hit it back, right on.
There it is. All right.
Oh, mercy.
Oh, so let's see. It seems like it was like just a couple of weeks ago. We were shooting together, doing some TV, but you've been out shooting competitively since then. So where'd you go? You went up to, I guess, Bianchi Cup and did some other stuff.
Well, when I left you guys down wherever we were in Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
We were in, I don't remember the last range, but I went from there to the 1911 Society Single Stack Classic, where I came in second, first loser, but a lot better than third.
Oh, wait. You know. Okay, I'll remind you. You know where we were? We were down in Super South Louisiana, and you were shooting those long-range targets with that M1 and having a ball.
Oh, that's right. We were shooting the 6.5 Creedmoor on the precision adjustable stock rifle, and we were amazed. I wasn't so amazed that the gun could shoot that well, but that Steve Horseman could shoot that well.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That shows you how good the gun is. That shows you how good the gun is.
Hey, I got to tell you, one of the surprise guns for us for the year, and you know the drill. We get a lot of guns. We get to shoot a lot of guns, okay? Fair enough? Yeah. All right. And you guys bring out this little, you cut one of the numbers off the 1911. I'm going, well, what's that all about?
Well, the funny part is we've taken so much flack. People initially, when we came out with the 911 380, the first thing we got was, you're trying to play up on the tragedy happened on 9/11. Oh, yeah, we got some of that. So, no, it's playing on to the whole thing that, who's going to be responsible for that first moment of protecting yourself. It's going to be you. So this is your 911 call right here, buddy.
Yeah. Because this is a gun you can have with you. Oh yeah, and by the way, the son of a gun shoots like a house of fire.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of way above its pay grade. The 380 over the decades. You're either a lover or a hater of any caliber.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm kind of old school and like big calibers, but I realize I'm not going to have a 45 1911 operator in my pocket. But that 380, that 911, I can have that in my pocket.
You know what it's got? It's got two things that I love. It's small, so there's not a whole lot to hang on to. You just got to learn to shoot a small gun. But it's got great sights and has an awesome trigger.
Right. We have tried to put as much onto it to make a shooter like that gun as is possible. Normally things like that get designed and they're like, well, who cares about the sights? It's what's the old term? A belly gun or something like that? What's that old school term? And we don't care about the sights. In the term hole, does it really matter? When the distance is measured in feet and not yards. Well, the reality is, hitting things is super important. and to make that happen, two things that really help are a good, clean trigger pull that's predictable, that you can shoot well, and the ability to direct those rounds. And I think aiming is the process that does that. So sights and good sights kind of help for that. So we decided.
And then, of course, I've learned from you and top shooters that, yes, sights are good, but trigger is everything. And if you can't control the trigger, it doesn't matter how good your sights are.
That's absolutely correct. You can pretty much don't pick a gun up and start feeling it and go like, I like the texturing and that kind of stuff. If you're allowed to dry fire it, pick the gun up, pull the trigger, and just look and see if you can pull the trigger without moving the gun. When you find a gun, you can click it, dry fire it without moving it. That's the gun you're going to shoot well.
And for those who say, but this is going to be a close range gun. Well, until it's not. Until it isn't. Yeah, that's great. And so, do I want something that will take care of most situations, or only a very few situations? I think I want the former. And people say, well, what would you ever need accuracy for out of a 380? Well, let's see. Guys shooting at you from 20, 50 feet away. You got to do something about it. Or, real world, you only have a small part of somebody that you have to shoot.
Right.
Right? I mean, you know, we get into the ugly stuff here, but that's the real world stuff. And if you can hit a 2 or 3 inch target at 15 yards, and you can with this pistol, you can do a lot.
Right. You can pretty much take care of any circumstance that is likely to occur that would have you using that piece of equipment. Yeah. You bring up a really good point, Tom. It's the average guy's like, well, you know, I'm never going to need this gun but a couple feet. Well, so what happens if you don't? What if it isn't a couple feet? You're going to say, hey, wait a minute, let's get closer. Wait a minute, I can't make that shot. Let's close the distance. You know, we're going to have to make this, you know, a little more into my realm of capability. So that's why we train so hard to do things that are so not what you would expect to do. It's so that we can make the shots, handle the situation, handle the stress of that circumstance, and have a reliable, you know, outcome or a predictable outcome that's favorable to us.
Case in point, I just recently had Andy Brown on, wrote a great book, and he stopped a mass shooter. He shot this guy in the head with a Beretta 92 at 72 yards.
72 yards.
72 yards. People say, well, why would you practice that? Because he was absolutely manic about practice all the time. So, well, that's why, because that may be the only shot you get. And he stopped the mass shooting because he could do that.
Well, there's your reason for it right there. That just changed my whole outlook now. So I now can consider my self-defense distance to be anywhere from 0 to 72 yards. Tom, I can't talk anymore. I got to run out. I got to practice. I'm not good enough to do this yet. I got to go.
All right. I'm sorry, Rob. We're putting you in timeout right now. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, collect yourself, and we're going to talk about giving away stuff. Holy cow. Right. Rob Latham, losing it again on live TV, right? Live radio here. Hey, don't go anywhere, my friend. We'll be right back with more with Rob Latham from Springfield Armory. We're going to be giving away some stuff, and it is like huge packages here. You want to be a part of this? 866-TALK-GUN.
I spy a black pickup truck. Oh, come on. How about something a little easier? Okay, I spy error-free forms, fast ATF processing, a 90-day money-back guarantee, and the largest inventory in the industry. I spy Powered By. That's right. With over 300 Powered By Silencer Shop retailers nationwide, there's always one close by. Is that easy enough for you? Ha! Almost too easy. Demand Powered By. Shop our industry-leading inventory at silencershop.com.
Founded with the singular purpose of building fine sporting firearms, Kimber creates a handgun for every person and a rifle for every adventure. While embracing modern manufacturing techniques, every Kimber depends on practiced hands for assembly, fit, and finish. There's no compromise in features, materials, or performance. Synonymous with quality, precision, and excellence, and made in America. Kimber is what all guns should be. Visit KimberAmerica.com. That's KimberAmerica.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
All right, we're talking with Rob Latham from Springfield Armory about, shooting, growing up shooting, all the rest of it. It's Father's Day, by the way. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. And also, we were talking about earlier, Michelle pointed out, the single moms. An awful lot of young people have been taught to shoot by their single moms these days, Rob.
Yeah, that's true. My wife, does a lot more training than I do, and that's who she works fundamentally with. Is
well, of course, she's raised not only your kids, she has raised you too.
Well, wow, I don't have a good one to come back off of that one because I can't argue the point. It's absolutely true. Without her, I call her my handler, but I guess to everybody else, it certainly would be my mom. Wow,
yeah,
that's true.
God bless Kippy for taking care of you.
Yeah, but she hasn't had to teach me how to shoot. I will say that much. I've learned a lot of lessons from her, but not necessarily shooting. But yeah, you're right. There are.
All right, so you guys got, we were talking about the 911 earlier. I keep going to call it the 911, but it's a 911, the 380 pistol, single action. It's but you got a new version of it, nitride black.
Yep, we got a titanium nitride slide version of it. Still a stainless slide, but it has a finish on it that makes it black because, you know, the first version was a stainless slide and a black receiver or a black frame, and that's not necessarily what everybody wants. You know, I like shiny things, you know, as you well know. And look, shiny thing. But yes, and we now have it out. Same exact gun, everything's the same specifications. Skinny, light, great trigger, good sights. You know, but now it's in a black slide. So
let me give the 15-second deal on the 380. Here's the deal. With the new ammo we have now, good self-defense ammo, I've shot it into ballistic gelatin, and side by side with a 9mm, I am getting within 1 inch of the same penetration with the 380 as you get with a 9. So quit arguing about it. Just carry what you carry.
Right. Use what you're going to use. You know, I love nothing more than arguing about, you know, kind of senseless things about calibers and things like that, because, well, I like to do that. But,
but you're the last holdout for the 40 too. So
I am. I love the 40. I still think the 40 is the do it all of all of them. So there's me and 3 other guys right now, and
that's
everybody else.
Pretty much it. And they've already left the building, so there you go.
Right. They're not here anymore, but yeah, it's. Oh, man, most people have chosen sides, and I just decided to run right down the middle and try to get the best of everything. But yeah, the whole 380 thing. I'll never forget a story. John Pride, who was a detective for the LAPD and also a champion, a PPC shooter, told me in an investigation they did there in LA, the longest penetration they ever saw was with factory 380 ammo. Went through a wall, a house, a television, a chest or drawer, and a file cabinet. That thing went on forever. So I'm not saying it's the most powerful, the best penetrator.
Right.
But it definitely can get the job done.
All right, let's give away stuff. Springfield's got this huge monster giveaway thing going. They can go to look at it at guntalk.com/win. Also, I believe it is at springfieldpromo.com. And I'm looking at this thing. Good gravy. We're talking about
the best summer ever, too, Tom.
Best summer ever 2 promotion. Let's see. Price package 1, you get a Springfield Armory XD Mod 2 3-inch, a Viridian laser backpack, a dueling tree, crossbreed holsters. It goes on and on. But wait, there's more. Price package number 2.
We're going to give you one of those exact same packages, only you can get a 45 ACP XD.
That's right.
So you got an XD, and you get an XD 3-inch subcompact 9. There's one with a 45. There's one that has an XDE in it, which is our 3.3-inch barrel single stack, multi-mode trigger pull, double action, single action.
4 different guns here.
Yep. Yeah, and then there's an XDS Mod 2 and 45.
Amazing. All right, guntalk.com/win or springfieldpromo.com. You can go and enter over there. And, when you go Springfield Promo, you'll also see the cool stuff. I think to the end of this month, they've got the 3 extra mag deal going.
Yeah, that thing seems to happen all the time. I can never remember what the stop point is. It's like,
it's on the website.
Let them go read it, because I don't know that for sure.
You'll just get in trouble again.
I know. Also, I'll give something away that we're not giving away, and it won't be the first time I've done it.
They'll say, but Rob said I could have this. And I go, yeah, again?
They're like, really? Yeah. So here, there's the line over there for stuff Rob gave away. Yeah, go get in that line. Oh, my God. It's like at the SHOT Show, and we show up over there. I love giving away competitors' guns. If I'm standing in a booth and somebody walks up, I'll say, hey, you want one of these? Here, you can have it. Take it.
That's right. Here, you tell everybody, that company over there, if you use this special word over there, they're going to give you a free gun.
Right, here's the secret code. You just need to go over there and know the handshake, and they'll give you anything in that booth.
Hey, Rob, have yourself a great Father's Day, man.
All right, thanks. You too, Tom. Nice talking to you.
Good talking with you. Best of the family. All right, we're open lines for you. If you have a story about shooting with your dad or getting started in shooting, or maybe you're a dad and you want to talk about getting your youngsters going in guns and shooting, safety lessons, I'd like to have all of that. 866-TALK-GUN, or just call me at Tom Talk Gun. And to everybody out there, happy Father's Day. All right, time for range reports. Line 2, Dennis is with us out of Liberal, Kansas. Hey, Dennis, you got a range report for us?
Yeah, Tom, I do. It's on a Majestic Arms trigger.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him at the NRA show, and they were real nice. I ordered one from his wife, and everything went in real good.
What gun?
On a Ruger Mark III, 22, 45.
Okay. How involved was it to install that?
Real simple. You watch his video, and it's real simple.
Okay. So how long? You must have had this pistol for a while then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've had it quite a while.
So what made you decide to get an aftermarket trigger?
Well, getting older and can't shoot as well as I used to.
Okay. So what happened when you put it in? How'd it work for you?
It worked fine. It gets you to about a 3.5-pound trigger on there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, like I say, you watch his video, he does it on there, and it's real simple to do.
Are you shooting better with it?
Oh, yeah, a lot better.
Isn't it amazing? And it's one of those deals that, and we work with different trigger companies. It's sometimes hard to get people to pay attention to having a good trigger. It just makes a world of difference. And it's one of those, the first time you try it, you go, oh, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, first time I shot my jewel trigger, I was that way.
Yeah, I've had jewel trigger in guns for probably 30 years. So, one of the original, I guess maybe go way back, Timney, Kanjar, and Jewel. Kanjar, I guess, is gone now. And Jewel, he's never been big. He's just kind of a boutique operation. Timney makes, a zillion triggers. But it's nice that there are also some of these small companies popping up like this that are making cool triggers. I'm really glad it's Majestic Arms, and people can look for that on the internet if they want to find that. Hey, Dennis, thank you for the range report. That is very cool.
All right, thanks, Tom.
You bet. Bill's with us out of Liberty, Missouri on 4. Hey, Bill, I got just about a minute for you, so go ahead.
Well, first off, happy Father's Day, Tom. And
thank you.
I have a Mossberg Shockwave, and I'm trying to come up with a laser and a flashlight combined. But I found a forearm that would fit under it, but the daggum light would stick out further than the barrel.
That's not good.
So I didn't want that. So I'm just wondering if you'd know of any.
That would work. What pops to mind? Crimson Trace has a combo laser light, and it's pretty small, pretty compact. Go to the Crimson Trace website and see what they have, and see if that might work for you. Okay.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks a lot, Tom.
You bet. All right, appreciate it, Bill. Thank you. Yeah, you don't want your flashlight sticking out beyond the muzzle on your shotgun because there would be a significant amount of muzzle blast going on there. That's not a good thing. And there are some real compact. Thing is, we all want like super bright, powerful flashlights on our guns, and I get that. But the reality is you may not actually need a 9,000 lumen light that will burn holes on a wall. What you really need is something that gives you enough light to identify the threat or the noise or the cat or the teenager sneaking back in the house. You need enough light to see what it is so you can identify what your course of action is. All that to say, if you can and you want a big, powerful light, go for it. But don't convince yourself that you necessarily need gazillions of lumens all the time. The other thing is we found out is a wide beam, I think in many cases, is more useful than a powerful narrow beam. Particularly if you're indoors, it allows you to see a wider, scope of things and see where the threats might be hiding. Just food for thought, just some things that we've been doing out there. I tell you what, if you've got a story about your father taking you out shooting or hunting, or maybe even your first gun, give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN. Love to have that. Happy Father's Day. I'm Tom Gresham, and this is Gun Talk.